Hello, Monarch fans, and welcome back to the Hudson Homers podcast. Joined again by Coach Finwood and, as always, CB Wilkins. CB, I'll start with you this time. How was your week?
Week is good. We had the step up to the plate on Friday, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, in a minute. We actually won some basketball games on Saturday, so that was a good time at the I guess Chartway. I always call it the TED, but I guess it's actually Chartway. And the women won on the road, so that was nice to get back in the winning ways.
And no offense to Chartway, but it'll always be the TED in my mind.
Yeah,
So,
that's kind of how I go too.
Finny, you had an interesting weekend. How are things going?
Great. We recovered from the ice age of the last couple weeks, and
Right.
spent the last half of last week just trying to thaw the field out. Just it was frozen, which is a very rare occurrence here. But it was frozen solid, and so we were able to get most of the snow off the infield on Thursday and Friday. Saturday, the sun came out, and we're almost there. We kind of played a simulated scrimmage Saturday and Sunday. Got it ready, man. It was full go. It was a nice day. We played 9 innings. It was really good to get out there and start knocking some of the rust off. And the guys were solid. The pitchers threw strikes. The hitters got the ball in play, and we were pretty solid defensively. So all in all, it was a good first weekend of playing for us, and we'll be back at it again. We got a nice week of practice, so this week, which we haven't had days in a row. We've been here and there, but having days in a row where you can get in some sort of a rhythm, getting your ground balls, getting your swings, BP on the field, getting the situational work in and the team defense work in, and that's going to be something we're going to be able to do this week. So that'll be nice to just try to get into the groove a little bit. So we're excited about that. And today was, 55 and sunny. It felt like it was 90 out there. The sun was beating on your head, and man, it's just been so enjoyable. So hopefully we can get back to, these are a little bit more normal temperatures, and, we're able to get our work in and go from there. So, 3 weeks from last Friday, we'll be opening up. So it's going to get here fast, and guys will be ready. It's a good group, and we're excited about talking about the hitters today. But before that, we had Friday, evening after practice, we had the step up to the plate dinner, and the Bud Matheny Award winner, Roland Wright, Coach Wright from Western Branch High School. And I thought it was a nice evening. The crowd was a little smaller than normal, and maybe the cold had something to do with that. I don't know. But it was a wonderful evening, very heartwarming. I thought Roland gave a really genuine, just down-to-earth thank you and acceptance speech of that award. And he's done so much for youth baseball in this area for so long. And guys like Mike Kadire being there to, help see him get that award. Wiley Lee, who he worked with. And, it was really fun to see some of the local high school coaches there to support him as well.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was extremely. It was, again, I told you last week. It's great to see. Roland definitely deserved the award, and having a guy who I know really puts the attention away from himself as much as possible. Let him have a night where it can be about you, Roland. You earned it. It was nice to see, and I know he had a great time. I got to talk to him a little bit there at the very end, and so that was really cool. And we had a good time. We were doing our interviews all throughout the night, which I believe are on all the sites and the socials. I don't know how well you can hear it, but it was a lot of fun. It was fun getting to sit and talk to the guys and talk to you a little bit there at the end. So if go on there, again, I don't know how well you can hear it or not, but go back and check that out. We'll have some of the guys on later in the year in the podcast here to talk with them again.
Yeah, sometimes the environment makes it a little bit difficult for some of those audio recordings. I found that on the road with football, especially at Bowling Green, in the concrete hallway outside of the locker room after we just won at the last second. But you can check out all those videos, the ODU Monarchs YouTube page. It's all up there from our live stream, and check that out. Of course, we'll have.
So Gary's better than me. He knows the places to go. I just show up.
I don't know if I'll ever go back to Bowling Green, Ohio, but it was an experience, and we won. So that's what was most important there.
Well, why would you? Why would you? I love the story Roland told about his wife telling him to just stop coaching and let the team win the state championship for him.
Yeah, that was the team with Zach and Juddy back in 14.
Yeah. team.
They were extremely talented. I remember I saw them. They were extremely talented baseball team.
Yeah, that felt like the 21 team for me. Like
Yeah.
somebody said something, and I go, man, I haven't given an offensive sign in a month and a half. Like we keep hitting it out in the road out there. Every time I don't, so why would I? I mean, what am I going to give it?
Yeah.
Steal sign or hit and run, and we'll hit a ground ball? Like, no, let's let them just go. They got in a roll, and when they get like that, man, it's fun, and you just got to let it. You got to take your hands off the reins and let the horses run. I can remember talking to Coach Logan Robbins, on the right after we'd beaten Louisiana Tech a couple close games before the tournament started. And I said, man, do we need to say anything to these guys? Like, they seem pretty locked in. What do you think? He goes, I think we just need to stay as far away from them as possible. And pat them on the butt and clap a lot. And he was right. I said, Coach Gus, what do you think? He goes, sounds good to me. And so you got to know when not to coach. I think it's a big part of this, like when to stay out of their way. Sometimes they need a little more and sometimes they need a lot less.
That's great to hear, because there are plenty of coaches who would insert themselves and mess things up.
Yeah, because that's ego. They got to, I did that, and it's just, the bottom line is you have done your job when they get to that point. You've done it really well. And that's very gratifying to sit back and watch those guys take over like that. And, the 22 team was very similar to that at the end of the year as well.
That 21 team was a lot of fun to watch, especially those last, I feel like 2 weeks of the regular season. And then, of course, going into the tournament, like you could not take your eyes off the screen because someone was going to hit a home run.
Yeah.
And it was so cool as a fan to just be able to experience that of like, we're never out of any game. I don't care how much we're down by. They hit a home run in the top half and extras. Oh, well, we're going to try to walk it off in the bottom. It was just so cool. And it kind of leads me to my question. I know last year we went a little more small ballish, kind of playing to the talents that we had on the team.
Which, again, I want to pause you and point out that before the 3 previous seasons we held the home runs, last year would have been a new high all time for ODU baseball home runs. So the new small ball was still more than we'd ever had before. But so just to pause that point, I think it's worth.
It's kind of amazing to think that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really weird to think that.
Call it new era ODU small ball.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, getting to your question, what you were getting at was maybe style of play, and I think those are, the college game is changed a lot, like the pro game has, to, more slug and less. But you gotta do whatever it takes to score runs, and I always say it's called pitching and hitting, not throwing and swinging. And so you got to be able to pitch, which means finding a way to get guys out, and hitting is offense. Like, when you need to maybe steal a base or hit and run or get a bunt down, you need to have the ability to do so, whether you're going to do it all the time or not. It's a skill. And if you're a ball player, you should want to, have all the tools in the toolbox that you might need. So this year's team seems to have much more power than last year's team. We've got a pretty good mix of some speed and power, and we'll just have to see as we get into, the season with who's playing what and what the rotations are. But we got some guys that, can hit the ball out there in the road, and you certainly want to take advantage of that.
And just thinking with your schedule too, I mean, you're going to run into some of the top arms in the country, and there may be those pitchers that they give up 2 home runs all season. So
and you have to find a way to get to them, maybe the other way, right? And so you need to have the ability to do that, certainly. Yeah, by the time we get into Sun Belt play, I mean, we'll have faced plenty of good arms, without a doubt. So we'll certainly be ready from that standpoint.
Yeah, excited for it. Excited for the new guys in the lineup, but also excited for a really good core of guys that you were able to bring back this year, which I know is not easy to do in the era of transfer portal and JUCO years and all of that. But would love to just see what you've seen improvement-wise from some of those key guys coming back: Maverick Stallings, Kyle Edwards, Luke Waters, all of them.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that word, improvement. I mean, that's kind of what we're all trying to be about. And Maverick ended up having a fantastic, last month of the season, and led the team in home runs, and really had some big big hits for us, and really played well at second. He's going to play some second and some third this year. Worked out at third a lot of the fall just so we could see it. To have that option, he handles it fine. He's stronger. He looks good physically. I think he'll be able to still drive the ball for us. And he's a senior, and he's one of those guys with the new JUCO rule that actually has another year. So
wow.
Yeah. Kyle Edwards back. Eddie, I think became a very productive offensive player last year. He's a really good defensive player. He's shown a lot of leadership for us this year. He's kind of just a fixture in there at shortstop for us the last few years. So, and had a good fall swing in the bat. Luke Waters looks great. I mean, yesterday he's 4 for 5 with 2 doubles. Right out of the bat. He has played a little bit of second base. He's playing some right and some center. So giving us a little bit more flexibility in the lineup with him being able to move around right there. Evan Holman coming back as our catcher has really transformed his swing. He had a really good fall swing in the bat. Drove the ball.
Every game I was out there in the fall, he had 3 hits.
Yeah. He was, he struggled with the bat last year, and especially driving the ball. And he's gotten stronger. He figured some things out with his swing. And he's a much improved offensive player. TJ Aiken, sophomore, who really had a good freshman year for us. Once we got him into the lineup full time, I thought he helped us a lot in that leadoff spot. He won't hit leadoff this year, but he's probably 20 pounds heavier and grown a little bit, and he's driving the ball. He hit a home run and a triple yesterday, and hitting the ball hard the other way. So we expect him to have a solid sophomore season right there.
He's got the kind of body he could put on 20 pounds every year.
Easy. Yeah, he looks good. I mean, he's definitely what they look like. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
4 group of guys. Jack Slater's a senior catcher. That was a backup catcher last year. Has gotten much improved. Really catching, throwing the ball well, and his at-bats over the fall and in the early preseason here have been really solid and competitive. So, that's the kind of the group of returners who've played a lot here, and certainly last year played a lot. I don't think I'm forgetting anybody. And then the rest of the guys.
Bryce Jones.
Yeah, Bryce is back. That's right. Yep. And Bryce is a guy that's, played in bits and pieces. He's been a pinch hitter. He's gotten in there and played some and done a really solid job for us every time he's gotten an opportunity. He's a fantastic teammate. Guys love him. The coaches love him. And he'll be a guy that'll, plug into some of those roles again this year. So, those guys being the returners, it's a solid group to go.
And then Alex Gomez, who redshirted last year, is back.
Yeah, Alex is back, and he's a backup catcher for us, and he'll continue to be in that role right there.
Yeah, TJ is definitely someone that I have my eye on. I think we kind of fell in love with him last year. He came on the podcast. You couldn't convince me that kid was a freshman when we were talking to him.
Yeah.
Just the way he carried himself, and then the way he was on the field with kind of growing as the season went on and learning those lessons like that. I think his ceiling is pretty high. I imagine you would agree. That's why he's in the mix here.
Yeah, without a doubt, and he's probably merging himself into being more of a middle of the lineup type of guy from hitting leadoff last year. So yeah, we expect TJ to have a good year. He went through some growing pains in terms of he was developing some power in the fall. However, he was trying to hit home runs and pulling off the ball, and it just wasn't working out great. And so we got back to hitting the ball the other way, and he's still hitting the home runs, but now he's not swinging and missing. He's hitting the ball all over the field, and really excited and proud of his work ethic and his ability to just keep working. He's got tremendous potential without a doubt.
Be like an Adam Jones type player.
Could be, yeah, could be.
Yeah.
He's got the best baseball still in front of him. Good athlete who's growing into his body, and in some respects still is. But boy, if he ends up as big as his dad is a giant of a guy. Dad's probably, oh gosh, he's got to be 6'4", 6'5", 250. And so TJ may still have some growing left to do.
Yeah, I love hearing that he's kind of learning those lessons in the fall with his swing.
Yeah,
Better to learn them in the fall than the spring. That is for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Without a doubt, it's all a process.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, CB shared some info with me on the newcomers. It sounds like there's some pretty good pop with a couple of those guys coming in. But we'd love to hear you, CB, kind of just what you've seen from the newbies and what fans can look forward to going into the spring.
Yeah, before Finny gives us a chance to give his actual educated, knowledgeable view, I just want to say I came in, I got to games in the fall. I was getting to one or two every weekend, and I was extremely impressed. Most years I am, but this year especially with the players that you guys brought in, both offense and defense. We got some dudes this year. I'm very excited about this season.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I hope so. I'll say this about the group of guys we brought in. They are an absolute blast. I mean, they are fantastic young men. Good students, good dudes. They're fun. They're fun to be around. They know how to be serious and work. They know how to laugh and have fun. Like, it's been a blast. And this group, I think, because of the personalities, is probably – that doesn't get you any wins or anything, but it's probably more ready to handle the rigors of a road type season like we're going to have, because they like each other and they're fun to be around. We're in the restaurants, you're going out to eat or whatever it is, practice at the field. It's a cool group and some good.
See, I would argue, I think it does get you wins. I think you see when you see a team that's not that good and they really don't like each other, things snowball and it goes poorly and it just becomes a bad, toxic situation. When you see a team of guys who like each other, when you lose a game here or there, they're not pointing fingers. It becomes, okay, let's get together. We like each other as a group. So I absolutely think that, again, my uneducated, you have all the experience, I don't, but I think that guys who like each other, that does get you wins.
Well, I don't disagree. I think the camaraderie and the care level that they develop off the field for each other absolutely helps. And we talked about that 21 team, and they so much with the COVID and all the things they weren't able to do, really kind of galvanized that group together. So this group has been fun, and the freshmen and the junior college guys and the portal guys. And so let's start with the freshmen. We only have 3 freshman hitters. And, Efren Morales is a catcher, outfielder. Had a fantastic fall. I mean, for a true freshman, like this guy's offensive numbers were off the chart. He can really hit. He's got a chance to be our leadoff hitter every day this year. He's tough as nails. He doesn't strike out. He hits the ball hard. I mean, he's already hit a couple off the wall. And he just is the little Jose Altuve kind of presence at the plate. He's 5'9".
He's only like 5'8", 5'9", right?
Yeah. That's on stilts, CB.
Yeah, he's a little fella, but Altuve is a good comp.
He's strong, and he's one of them dudes that he looks in the mirror, he sees a 6'4" guy. Absolutely.
Believe that.
I know how that feels.
He's tough. He's a tough out. Like he's the kind of guy that, he can lead off a game and have a 12-pitch at bat and just wear a pitcher out like that. So he's working hard at the catching. He's probably our number 3 catcher right now. He's fine in the outfield. He'll DH some, but he's going to be a guy that's going to need to be in the lineup, I think, and as we move into this thing. Another freshman, Tanner Shadle, who's from right here in Virginia Beach, went to Cape. Moved him over to first primarily right now. Swinging the bat really well. He's learning first base kind of as we go, and that takes a little bit of time, but he's such a good athlete. And he can really hit. Like he had a couple hits yesterday, hit a triple off the wall, and both on off-speed pitches. So that was good to see, especially for a young guy. So he'll be in the mix for at bats at first and DH also.
Yeah, I've been watching Tanner since he was a freshman there at Cape Henry, and yeah, I mean, from day one, I was like, boy, I hope we get this kid.
Yeah.
His older brother Kenny is a very good ball player too. Do you know he's back playing again?
He's a Lewisburg.
He's in Lewisburg. So this, just for people who don't know, just an interesting thing about his family. Kenny was a really good ball player that won a state championship for 2 when he was there. He went to Georgia Tech originally out of high school, didn't end up making the team. Kind of got lost for a couple years there. He is now a freshman the same year that Tanner is at Lewisburg. So I think it's pretty interesting.
It totally is. I didn't think about that. And then Brody Connors is a infielder. He's played all three, second, third, and short. He's from Los Angeles. Just a grinder, tough guy, good ball player. He's really gotten better physically since he's been here, and he'll be a backup infielder this year, but he's got a chance to be a good player. We're excited about Brody. So those are the freshmen. The transfers and the portal guys, Kanan Jorge, however you want to pronounce it. He's a big right-handed hitting outfielder from Miami, and went to junior college down in Florida, and has come in and done nothing but hit since the day he got on campus. Hits the ball all over the field with power, and he's a big guy, so you wouldn't know it looking at him. He's as good an outfielder as I think I've ever seen. Like, he is fantastic out there. He can run, he can catch the ball, his glove skills are good, and he can really throw. And so he'll probably play right field for us, I would imagine, and hit in the middle of the lineup. So we're excited about Kanan. Fantastic teammate on top of all that.
Yeah, he was extremely exciting. He's the one that pretty much, get people asking me, like, this kid George, or Jorge, however I want to say it. Yeah. He's a phenomenal ball player. And like I said, great kid.
Great kid, a lot of fun, big personality. And he played for the Italy.
Yeah.
He played for the Italian national team in the last summer, and whatever was
going on. It was
U.S.
team.
Yeah. The U.S. JUCO team. That's what.
Yeah, he was a U.S. JUCO team. Yeah.
They played over in Norway.
The Netherlands, I think.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Across the water.
Yeah. That was a blast.
Yeah.
So
it sounded like he had a really, really great time over there.
Yeah, it's fun to talk to those kids that get that experience. Tyler Zadalis is a transfer from South Carolina, redshirt freshman, big, strong kid, the strongest position player on our team. And third baseman, first baseman. He's a really good athlete, really good defender. Had a little bit of swing stuff we needed to work through with him, and he's gotten it figured out pretty good, man. He's hitting the ball hit 2 home runs on Saturday and the ball off the wall yesterday. He's got some pop in there and can play both corners very well. So he'll be a guy in the middle of the lineup as well, right there. So Ryan Thomas is a right-hand hitting outfielder from we saw him out in the NWAC out in Washington. He's from Utah. Mom works at the University of Utah, so he's a Ute. But he's got a chance to be in the lineup quite a bit in the outfield.
Have you ever had a player from Utah?
Not here. I had a couple at Auburn.
Yeah. Okay.
Scott Pratt. They were Mormon kids, and but
sure.
No, he's the first one here. And he's a Mormon kid. He's also been on a mission, and to hear him talk about the mission. Yeah, Ryan's 24, I think. And he originally started college at Utah Valley State or somewhere, whatever Utah State is Division I football. He was a safety, so he went there to play football. Decided he didn't like football. Went to junior college.
That getting hit thing, not fun.
No, another interesting story on Ryan is he didn't have a field in junior college because they were doing construction. They played every game on the road the year he was in junior college. Then he comes here and he's going to play every game on the road here.
Hey, at least he's got that experience, right? He's been through that before.
Yeah. And we got some other guys in there. Zach Leak's a left-handed hitting first baseman. Teron Hammond is a middle infielder, going to back up. He'll play some second and then back up at shortstop. 5th-year senior transfer from Bluefield State D2 school. Teron's a really good hitter and a fantastic personality. I mean, he's just
Huge personality. That guy is so fun.
yeah, great smile. He's going to help us this year. Scotty Young is a transfer from Rutgers, left-hand hitting, left outfielder who can really defend, really run. He's going to be in the mix for some stuff with us as well. So, you know, those guys are all in there, and it's a good group. Like I said, they've merged themselves right into the team. You know, I always tell the guys early in the season, the new guys, like what they need to understand is we don't become you, like you become us. And so you need to look around and pay attention to the guys that are back and listen to the things they say and listen to the coaches, because it's your job to become us, not our job to become you. And these guys have done a great job. And we're not trying to take anybody's personality away. Like, I love the personality. We want to encourage those as long as they're within the framework of meshing into the team concept and culture. So this group's done a really, really good job of that. So, you know, we've got 17 total hitters. You know, typically 12, 13 play much, and the other guys have to kind of accept their roles and work their way into it and work while they wait. And so that all takes a few weeks of the season to start kind of working its way out, and you know, who stays healthy and who gets hurt and all those things that come into play.
Yeah, that's one thing I think is a big deal. You know, we're 2 weeks from Friday is the first day. And, you know, I'm sure you have kind of an idea. You probably have some things you maybe want to decide then. But even the lineup you put down on February 14th, by the time you even get to conference play 5 weeks later, is not going to be the same lineup.
No doubt.
Whether
Never
it's
is.
performances or injury, whatever it is, it's going to be different.
Yeah, it very rarely is. You're right. And the pitching, you know, bullpen roles and
Yeah.
things like that, all of that has to work its way out. And that's why that first 4 weeks is big, because, you know, the games mean something. When you play in a conference like the Sun Belt, you know, every game can really mean something because of the RPIs and the chance to get at larges and things like that. But you also have to figure out your team. You know, if you just rely on this guy every time, you know at some point you're going to need somebody else. Sometimes you got to, you know, just stick them out there and figure out if they can do it or not, man. And so that's what the early season is all about, trying to do some of that. And, you know, we've got a really good coaching staff with a lot of experience, and we sit down and kind of hash it out and those kind of things to try to figure out who can do what. And, you know, the nice thing, and we'll talk about the pitching next week, but the nice thing, you know, to know that you got 3 experienced guys that are all pretty good and all left-handed, by the way.
Which is interesting, yeah.
Anchor the rotation. It's kind of unusual to have 3 lefties to do that, but we're excited about them and all of that. So we've got some good pieces in the pen. We just got to figure out who can do what.
I'll tell you one thing I like about these hitters is you have a lot of flexibility. There's a lot of you got guys can play, you know, third and first. You got Luke can play in the infield if you need him to. You know, Kyle can play anywhere if you wanted him to. He's like he reiterated on Friday night, he's a utility player. You mentioned Efren Morales can play catcher and outfield. It's one of those. I've kind of said this a few times talking to people. This is the kind of year where, like, if you have a guy that goes in and he gets a few chances and doesn't really do it, he might never get a chance again because somebody else might take that spot.
Yeah. Well, you look at the Dodgers in the big leagues and some of the teams, and you know their ability to plug and play guys at different positions kind of injury proofs them a little bit too. You know, and that's the way it's going to have to go, because this roster cap next year going to 34. I mean, you're going to have less hitters than ever because you're not going to have less pitchers, and so you're have to have guys that can play infield, outfield, catcher, first base, catcher, outfield, that kind of thing. It's just if you don't, you're going to come up short. And so we've kind of started doing that a few years ago, and I think it's carried into this team certainly. So we like the flexibility that gives us.
And I can't scientifically prove it, but I feel like there's a direct correlation between guys that are willing to go and learn and try new positions and be a utility on their lineup card, and being a good team player and being good for team chemistry. You're like, I don't care, put me out there wherever, and I'll go do it.
Yeah, it's a part of conversations we have in the recruiting process. And some kids like the going someplace where I'm like, look, man, you may be playing this position right now, but you're a good enough athlete to play professional baseball. And the more different places you can show those guys that you can show up on the field, the more different gloves you can have in your bag, it just helps you, man. Because a lot of teams, the Cubs, the Dodgers, a lot of teams want those guys like that. And, you look at the Cubs, I mean, with Bryce Wyndham, catching, playing third, PJ Higgins catching, playing infield. All those guys got Jared Young, outfield, first base. Like all those teams are interested in guys that, have some versatility and can move around. And so it doesn't do anything but help.
Yeah, everybody was a shortstop in high school, right? I mean, you watch a big league game and the amount of guys who they're playing all over the field, and it's like, yeah, I remember when that guy first got signed to the minors, he was a shortstop, so you're going to end up somewhere else.
Yes. Yeah. Unless you're really a shortstop.
Yeah. Right. I mean, yeah, there's only like 15 of those. There's another 15 that might play there, but there's like maybe 15 actual big league shortstops.
Yeah. The Padres,
you're not Bobby Witt Jr.
I remember when we were watching the Padres play the Braves and we were down in Atlanta at the end of the season, and I think they said in that game every player on the field other than the catcher was a high school shortstop. And so that was interesting,
I bet that catcher played shortstop at some point too.
He probably did, yeah.
I saw John Keane playing shortstop. Like, trust me, catchers will get out there.
I'm going to remind him of that tomorrow. So,
he was good at it because he was good in high school. He was just really, really good.
Yeah. So it's a good group offensively. We've gotten the ball in play. We're not striking out a ton against what we feel like is pretty good pitching that we've got. So that's good to see.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we have a fun question for Coach Finwood about superstitions and traditions. And we'll see what else we can get out of him, but we will be back here in 30 seconds.
This episode of the Monarchs podcast is brought to you by the Pride of ODU Collective. Their mission is to elevate the experience of student athletes through name, image, and likeness, while also elevating the fan experience. If you or your business are interested in getting involved, you can reach out to us directly or go over to theprideofodu.com. That is theprideofodu.com. Thank you for listening, and go Monarchs.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I agree. Give us the money.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, we are back. We want to have a couple things here at the end. And then, of course, next week's episode, we'll cover all the pitchers and that fun side of things. But Coach Finwood, we asked a lot of the players last year we had them on, like, what's the weird tradition this year? What's the weird celebration, superstition, all of that? We got some really unique answers, and it actually made sense for what we were seeing in the dugout after like home runs and 2-strike counts and, runner on first situations when we're pitching. But over your career at ODU, what's got to be like the most ridiculous, the weirdest thing in that category that you have seen?
Well, nowadays they've taken all the, celebrating off the field. You got to do it in the dugout. And so a couple years ago when that all started, our guys, we were somewhere, I couldn't even tell you where, but, we started hitting these home runs, and then all of a sudden this old ratty, rusty chain, I think Tom Scheffler found it in a box in his garage or something. And he started putting it on the guys when they would come in the dugout. They call it the Homerun Chain. Well, then we go on road trips, and I'd noticed that there was like things starting to get hung on the Homerun Chain, little trinkets and things like that. And then one day we stopped at a gas station somewhere at 2 a.m, and guy came out of there with a don't run with if you can't get off don't run with the big dogs if you can't get off the porch or something. Whatever the saying is, if you can't get off, and so that now the chain's got an old license plate on it, and so that it's been added to over the years, and we still have it, and it's kind of our tradition now. The guys get it when they come in the dugout after a home run, so that's pretty cool. Something we do after games, just amongst ourselves. We've got a set of brass baseballs that's connected by a rope, brass balls, quote unquote. And we just call it the brass, and we give that to the pitch after wins. We give that to the pitcher of the game, somebody when we're in our little huddle. The pitcher had the best. It's really not even the best number. Somebody that did something the best to help us win that game. It may have come in and gotten out of a jam. Kellen Davis got a couple times, and people couldn't even remember that he pitched in that game because it was early. But and so
he threw one out, but it was really important out.
The Raptor.
And
the Raptor.
Exactly. But so the pitcher gets the brass, and then we have this big old, looks like a ship rope, and it's probably 10 feet long, and it's all tattered up and taped up, and so the rope goes to the hitter of the game. The guy that drove in the most runs, or had a big hit. The rope. The old school that hit a good hit was called a rope. So we've got the brass and the rope that we take with us, and we give those out after wins. And so that's kind of a neat little tradition that we have just amongst ourselves. And the guys keep that in their locker, and then they bring it with them, if we're on the road, and or have it there, after home games, and then they'll give it to the next guy that gets it. Some days I think we had a series where maybe Waters got the rope all 3 days, so he just hung it around his neck himself. So that's kind of cool, and the guys enjoy that.
I am curious to see what trinkets end up on that this year, knowing
We're gonna
all
have
the
a
different
lot of-
places you're traveling to.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of opportunities. Buc-ees is always a favorite for getting some. We have acquired a gorilla and a Buc-ees mascot that the guys like to. This is a PG show, so the guys like to put them in obscure wrestling poses.
Yeah.
Friendly situations.
And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, there was like a week where they got the Buc-ee mascot in the dugout, and he was out there with them cheering things on. And there was about a 2-week period where they were trying out. They found like an astronaut cap, and that was going with the home runs in the road. They go through stretches for sure.
Yeah, Kootenai had that astronaut hat on for a while. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we pick up some interesting stuff on the road, man. Buc-ees gets a lot of money from the Monarch baseball program. For sure.
Now I just want to sneak ahead of you at one of these road trips and just put something weird on the bench in the dugout and just see if it ends up there and see what happens.
Chances are it would. Yeah, there's a good chance that it would. And, that I love that part of college athletics. I think we've, as long as it's respectful and fun, we're never trying to do anything to show up our opponent. And I'm okay with it being in the dugout. It's fine. The guys have enough fun with it. So, the guys. Everybody.
I was pretty bothered when they took it out, because the thing is, they didn't mind the entire season. Every time guys were doing that, putting that out on the NCAA, on ESPN, they had the big, have videos and pictures of it all year long. You were using this to push the sport, but then you got to say, oh, well, you can't do it. It's like, well, so that's how you stop growing the sport. You made it. It was very cool. It was very fun. And then it was like, nope, can't be cool. Can't have fun. It's like, all right, well then your younger kids, the people who are trying to get interested in playing the game, watching the game, being invested in the game, all of a sudden you're like, well, all right, whatever. I'll go watch some other sport that's going to be okay with them celebrating, having fun.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's a valid point, CB, without a doubt, man. You want it to show the enthusiasm. The thing that happens, unfortunately, is guys like I tell our guys, like, let's cheer for each other.
Yeah.
Like, let's pick each other up. Let's cheer at each other. Let's stay away from yapping at them, and don't get hung up in that. It's just such a waste of mental energy. These guys, like, you're not fighting. Like, what are you, a tough guy? Like, you're gonna yell at the other team? You're not gonna do anything. So just stop.
Every time I go to a JUCO game, it's like, this is why you're here, man. It's not your talent level. It's because you guys are all out here trying to pick fights and talk to each other. It's like, just root for your guy. I've always said as a fan, I don't get, unless someone's like personally been incredibly rude to you, which I've had a few players I will boo because they have been personally rude to me. But I mean, well, like Bryce Harper, man, you're a jerk. I'm sorry, I boo you every time. But the reality is, just root for your guys, root for your team. I tried to. I think I may have. It took several years. I finally got Bo around on that, I think.
Yeah. And it's awesome. Like when a guy gets a big strikeout and he looks in his own dugout and, you know,
Yeah.
he's fired up, the guys are coming out of there. That's awesome. When the guy does the
Great.
same strike, looks in the other team's dugout and starts yapping up that's not awesome. Like that's
Awesome.
and that's the difference. And so we try to stay away from that scenario with our guys and, you know, just cheer for each other and at each other. And I think that takes care of it.
I've always been told the best way to piss off your opponent is to completely ignore them when you're celebrating, because this is our club and you're not in it right now because we just hit the walk-off tank. We had some fun with that last year. I know a couple of the walk-off home runs we had, especially against some of the teams we played. You know, I'm thinking like the East Carolinas, the Charlottes. They're really tough. The guys that we consider rivals. It was always fun, you know, walking off that way.
Yeah, totally is. It's a great sport. It's great competition, and you know, it's I think if you can take the attitude of I'm just going to assume that whoever I'm playing that day is going to play their best game, and I got to play my best game to beat them. Then you stop getting worried about the stats or are they supposed to be better than us? Or are we supposed to be better than them? That's irrelevant. Like you play the game, and you don't play the name on the jersey or what their record was last year or even what it is this year. You just go play and you try to play at the best level you're capable of. And then you count them up at the end, man, because some days you play great and you get beat. The ball just didn't bounce your way. And some days you play like crap and you win. You get lucky. And so that's why you play a lot of games in baseball, so it balances out. And you just can't get hung up on playing the scoreboard. Because in baseball, I've seen plenty of – when I was a younger coach, I coached the scoreboard a lot. And I've seen plenty of games through the years where we're getting beat 5-3 or 6-3 in the fifth, and we're smacking the ball. We're hitting line drive outs. Like we're just it's just not roll. And they got a couple dump hits with 2 outs and a runner at third. They bleed one in, and our pitcher's throwing great. And if you play the scoreboard, the guys start going, oh, man, you know, it's not our day, that kind of thing. But if you go, hey, guys, just keep it up, man, it's going to start falling. Like we've got 7 line drive outs, and they just dumped a couple in. Let's just hold them right there. We're going to get to this guy. Then they start playing the game and trying to get the momentum instead of playing the score, and it just works out better. It's just a healthier way to approach competition because these guys all get hung up on the score. And the score only matters at the end of the game. Like that's the only time it matters. What matters during a game is momentum. And so you're constantly trying to fight for momentum, either keep it, get it back, different things, get momentum, double plays, get momentum, extra base hits, diving plays, saving runs, things like that. So we talk a lot about that energy to try to take the worry of the score out of the guys' minds.
This all sounds like a life lesson. It's almost like there are life lessons to learn from sports and competition.
Yeah, well, you can learn a lot because baseball, you're always picking your butt up out of the dirt, man. You got to dust yourself off constantly. And
a game where failing 7 times out of 10 is success.
Yeah, you look at a guy like Bruce Bochy, a Hall of Famer, right? He's won 4 years, whatever. He's got over 1,000 losses.
Yeah.
Casey Stengel, who I think won more games than any manager, maybe, or Connie Mack, or one of those two. Anyway, he also lost more than anybody.
Yeah.
You know,
I was talking about that the other day with we talked about Caitlin Clark and turnovers, and I said, you know, look at the WNBA, NBA, the all-time leaders in points and assists and all those. They're also the all-time leaders in turnovers.
Yeah.
The all-time leaders in home runs are also the all-time leaders in strikeouts. You know, what it means is they were there doing it.
That's right. That's right. And they weren't afraid to strike out or turn it over. You see, can't steal second with 1 foot on first, right?
Yeah.
Babe Ruth said, I struck out more times than anybody too.
Yeah.
Well, I think Peyton Manning, he holds the record for most interceptions thrown by a rookie QB in the NFL. Things turned out okay for that guy. If you haven't been watching any commercials, he's fine.
Yeah.
All commercials.
Yeah, he's on every commercial now. Like him and Eli, Peyton Manning and debating Manning. And
I like Peyton Manning. That's a good one.
Yeah. He's awesome. And I don't know if everybody likes him, but I think he's hilarious. For a guy that doesn't take himself that seriously, you know, his self-deprecating stuff is funny as heck.
good.
And him and Eli together on the Manning cast for Monday Night Football it's like it's just much watched TV. Like regardless of what the game, they're living their best life right now.
Yeah, now we got what they're trying to make a kick or something like that, or they're gonna make this
Yeah, the
field goal?
kick of destiny thing. Yeah.
Kick of destiny, yeah.
I like the commercial. That commercial's good. That Eli wanted to be a kicker, but he had to be a quarterback. That's a funny bit.
Yeah, Peyton shows up with the mullet over there.
Yeah.
Act like me and Dad. Yeah, it's great.
Oh,
All right, well, I guess we're way over the time limit.
Nah, we're good.
we
Those
have
are
no
fun.
time limits
All
here.
right.
There's no rules, but we're good.
Yeah.
But so 2 weeks from Friday, man.
Yeah, man. Did you guys pick the right teams yesterday? Did y'all get them right in the games? Football?
Well, I mean, I didn't pick necessarily, but I was rooting for Washington and they lost. So, go Chiefs.
Yeah.
Who I
Chiefs,
picked was not who I was rooting for.
Okay. You still got to beat the champs, right? Like,
Yeah.
They're going for a three-peat, which has never been done, I think. Is that what
Never,
they said?
not for that. Apparently, it happened before there were Super Bowls, but it's
Okay.
never happened in the Super Bowl era.
Boy, yeah. Well,
Apparently, no team has ever actually won two and then gone back to a third one.
that's right. They're the first team to do that.
Yeah. You have the Bills who lost two and then went to two more and lost, which is wild.
Yeah, someone's got to dethrone Mahomes. I saw a stat where they consider like clutch drives in the playoffs. So I think it's under 4 minutes on the clock. Your team has the ball and you're either trailing or you're tied. And the stat is, do you as a quarterback lead your team down to go ahead or tie the game or win the game, whatever it is. And there's only been like 158 of these instances in NFL playoffs. And they were talking about the quarterbacks that were the best of it. Tom Brady was like 5 for 11 in those situations. The GOAT, right? Like the GOAT. Patrick Mahomes after yesterday is now 8 for 8 in those situations.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. And you don't think about it. He just does it.
He's a
his dad played for the Tides when I was a kid, and his dad's one of the nicest people I've ever met through baseball. And I saw him again later, like probably very end of his career when he was playing indie ball. And I was talking to him after the game. I was like, "Hey, I hear your son's pretty good at football, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, he's a junior in high school. He's already committed to Texas Tech." And then I was like, "Oh man, well, good for him. I hope he does well." I was like, "Oh, thanks, man." Yeah. And then Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Like
Somebody
wild.
told me, I don't remember who it was now, but that his dad actually spoke at the clinic years ago here. He was one of the pro
I would
guys.
believe it.
Wasn't the guest, the guest speaker, but
Yeah.
he was one of the pro guys they used to bring in. He actually was here, so that was kind of.
I would absolutely believe it. Yeah, Pat was an awesome guy. I'd absolutely believe it.
Yeah, and I think Mahomes was a pretty good pitcher as well, I believe, and
He was.
drafted by somebody.
Yeah, I think if he decided to focus on baseball, he'd have been just fine.
Yeah, I think he did all right. I think he made the right choice.
Okay.
He's doing okay these
He's doing
days.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in and listening.
Yeah,
Make sure you tell your friends, go find someone's phone, subscribe them on Spotify. You can find the video version of this on our YouTube site, also the prideofodu.com. You can find all of our content there along with lots of other ODU related content. But thank you all so much for listening. And Coach Finny?
Yeah, and Gary, if people have questions that they'd like to hear, how would they get those to you guys, for instance? Is there a way to do that? Like,
Yeah.
if they say, hey, can you ask about this? Can you guys talk about this?
Yeah, reach out to any of our social media handles, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It can be a DM. You can mention us. But also, we will be getting the hotline going again to have fans call in and leave a voicemail. Awesome. We'll play it on here and react, especially when we start playing. So we'll have that going. But
if you see me at a basketball game or something, just shout at me, and we'll do that.
Perfect. Yeah.
I'd say I think CB is doing more work than any of us right now. He is at like every basketball game, providing all the awesome photos you see. If you see our intro video, that's all CB, Pride of ODU website, the old Monarchs website.
I did not do the music. I enjoy the music.
I think I paid $1.99 for the rights to that.
Music, I was vibing. I was back here like meow.
CB's trying to battle Jack Ankerson for the hardest working guy in Norfolk. So,
every game I'm at, he's announcing it. So we're neck and neck.
now. He announces every game in every sport known to man. He's
There
unbelievable.
was like a random Friday. I saw my nephew playing JV basketball at Norfolk Academy. I look over and Jack Ankerson just hanging out watching the game. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah. He loves it. So, well, guys, thank you so much. Hope everybody enjoyed it.
Yep. Thank you all, and see you next week. Go Monarchs.
Go Monarchs.
Go Monarchs.